Is this good television?
Hello and welcome to Taskmaster. Though these piping hot studio lights may be bouncing off my pearly dome, do not be mistaken for, like the great Gorgon Medusa, this head has a metaphorical hairpiece of snakes flowing off it. And these green eyes, if you happen to look into them, may well turn you to stone. Or at the very least, cause my personal security guard, Julio, to shout, "Don't look at him." For I am the all-powerful Taskmaster. The 5 comedians wanting Daddy's love and affection are Chen, Conchetta Caristo, Mel Buttle, Peter Helliar, and Reese Nicholson. And as always, sitting patiently by my side and waiting for a bit of dinner to fall off my plate, it's my assistant, Tom Cashman. G'day, Tom. What are you going to say this evening to endear yourself to Australia?
Well, I think my relationship with you has changed my relationship with authority. I'm even more respectful than I used to be. I was in a shop this week and I asked to speak to the manager. I didn't even have a complaint. I just wanted to speak to a manager. And then the manager, she was like, "Is this it? This is a waste of my time." And I was like, "Well, that's actually a bit rude. I'd like to speak to your manager." And then I spoke to him. I'm like, "You're a manager? That's crazy." And I just kept doing that over and over again. And that's how I met Harvey Norman.
At this point, I'd like to have a go at Harvey Norman, but he's probably a sponsor. I got no idea who sponsors this shit. All right, Mr. Tom, kick us off.
Well, our first task, as always, is a prize task. Tonight, our contestants have been asked to bring in what they consider to be the best piece of art you paid $50 or less for.
Sounds like it's time for a shit art exhibition. Aaron, what would you like to hang?
Thanks for asking me, by the way, you're awesome. And near my house, there's actually like a vending machine for art. I put my credit card in and for $50 I got this artwork.
Okay.
It's actually a double-sided portrait. Great value.
So who are the portraits of?
I think they're by a guy, I see the signature, called Philip Lowe.
All right, Mel, what did you bring in?
I have drawn some portraits of people's dogs. I was paid to do this art. Now, I have been to university, I'm creative, and I think that is very obvious once you see the artwork. Woof.
So the task was best piece of art you paid $50 or less for.
That's
so I
right.
suppose the question is, if you get paid, is that kind of like even less than zero?
That's
it's
right.
like minus amounts of being paid.
No, well, I'm happy with minus. How much were you paid for that?
1.7 million.
That's a long way under 50.
Unfortunately, the task is best piece of art.
Yep, there it is.
Oh, I see. So you've earned money and we've accepted that.
Great.
But the art's shit. Conchetta, what did you bring in?
So I went to an art class with my boyfriend. We paid $45 each, and we both painted our favourite celebrity. You know who that is, right?
I'm thinking they're 2 generic Channel 10 newsreaders.
It says coffee behind it. Is it Jerry Seinfeld?
Yes!
Oh, so you both painted Jerry Seinfeld. They're the same person.
It's the same person.
Okay. Peter, what did you bring in?
Let's raise the bar. What would you say if I told you that I managed to purchase for under $50 an original Da Vinci? Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you bring that in to show everyone that you're down with the kids?
It was one of his early drafts.
It's a very impressive piece of art.
It is. It was during Da Vinci's T-shirt stage as well.
Yeah.
He famously used the dab method.
I think it's very impressive. Reese, what do you got?
I think rare art is what we're looking for. And so on eBay, I typed in rare art and I found this.
No. Sorry, I just had a moment there where I genuinely forgot that I released a single.
Yeah. If we move to the next one, I have a few questions.
Okay.
You've got the United States of Australia, the United States of Australia, the radio edit, the United States of Australia, the karaoke edit. I wish I could play it for you. Neither myself nor the production in the last week have worked out how to get it played. Like...
What you're forgetting too is that if you could work out how to play it, you would have to get the permission from the rights of the owner.
Yeah.
So I'd have to grant it.
Yeah.
And I don't. All right, well, a lot to think about there. Mel's was not great artwork, so that's 1 for Mel. 2 points to Aaron Chen, because I don't know how to break this to him because he seems so unaware of what he does. I mean, I know he dresses it up as comedy, but I think he's genuinely thick.
I'm not quite getting it, but I'll accept the points.
I'm going to give 3 points to Pete.
3 points to Da Vinci.
Oh, I've got a feeling, I think it may not be an original.
I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah. 4 points to Conchetta, but because it was the greatest artwork on offer tonight, obviously I'm going to give 5 points to Reese. I mean, it was a masterpiece. All right, let's get on with it. Show me a proper task.
What better way to get this episode started than a steaming warm bucket of Joe?
I might come out with a strut.
Oh, right, yeah.
You look nice.
Oh, thanks.
Okay.
Hi, Conchetta.
Oh, a wet one.
It's in a bucket.
Oh, it's warm. Why is it warm?
Is this coffee or is it poopy caca water?
What was the second option?
Poopy caca water.
Oh.
I'll open that up, shall I?
Drop the coffee.
You have 10 minutes and 1 drop only.
Most litres of unspilled coffee multiplied by metres dropped wins.
What? You have to help me understand.
Your time starts now.
I don't get it!
Well, Conchetta, it was good to see you back doing what you do best, being confused by a task. So, Lester, Tom, can you slow it down for her?
Basically, it's the number of metres dropped multiplied by the number of litres of coffee left in whatever receptacle after the drop occurs. First up, a couple of flat whites. It's Pete and Reese.
Does it need to stay in here? Like, if I tip it into another vessel, is that spilling? A spill is an accident.
A spill's an
A
accident?
spill is an accident. I was a spill.
You were a spill?
I was an accident.
Oh,
Okay, up there, that seems too high.
to prevent spillage.
Yeah.
I have 10 minutes. I have 10
7
minutes.
30.
All right.
What's happening here?
I'm going to put the coffee in this bag,
You're going to put all that coffee in that.
because then I'm going to lock this up.
Oh, and none of it will spill out of that?
Mate, if this is a good brand, that coffee is not going anywhere.
I'm going to fill these with coffee.
Okay.
This is good. This is actually a good idea.
This is really nice.
Do you want to pour some coffee in here? Led Zeppelin song. Pour some coffee in
What album's that on?
Hysteria.
Oh, and now this doesn't seal.
So the problem with what is happening here is...
The budget on the show.
Okay.
There we go. This is actually good stuff. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do.
This is not good.
This is a good idea. This is actually a really good idea.
And I'm going to go up there
Okay.
and I'm going to drop it.
Okay.
And it's not going to spill. Nah.
I'm just going to provide some security for the coffee in the bag.
Mm-hmm. Do you have an idea of where you're going to drop it from?
I'm going to climb up on the third railing of that.
On here?
Yeah.
Wow.
I want you to know, I know this isn't good.
Okay.
This is ready to go, I think. The genius in this is the
Genius.
I basically created the goon bag.
Right. A classic thing I associate with geniuses.
So I'm going to do it now. and it's not going to spill.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Oh. There we go. Pretty good.
Here we go. Perfect. Nailed it.
I mean, that's refreshing.
There's some in your mouth?
Yeah, it's a bit weaker, usually a little bit stronger.
Now, hear me out.
Yeah.
As I explained at the beginning of the task,
Right.
a spill is only an accident. If you know exactly how this is going to end, they don't know accident, baby. So that is not spilt liquid, that is distributed liquid.
Now, Peter, you dropped your coffee from how high do you reckon it was?
Oh, 20 foot. I didn't want to go too high.
Yeah, I know.
So I went maybe, let's say 20 foot, let's say that. I would like to point out there was a lot of coffee still in that bucket. May have seen a bit of a splash.
Well, I know. I think heaps stayed in, and I think that once again in this show, Pete, you've shown that your lack of ambition paid off. Can we get the results on how they did?
Absolutely. There were 7 litres of coffee in the bucket at the beginning of the task. Pete had 6.1 litres after the drop. Pete dropped the bucket from 1.49 metres, which means 9.09 litre metres is Peter's score. But there was a tiny bit of coffee left in the bag that Reece dropped.
But heaps on the concrete and the grass.
Are we accepting this?
No.
There was 16 millilitres left there, which, multiplied by 5.1 metres, your litre-metre score is 0.816.
Who's next, Lester Tom?
One of them says, don't talk to me before I've had my coffee. The other says, don't even talk to me all the time. It's Conchetta and Mel.
Can I use anything in the area?
Sure. Is this you inspecting the area?
Yep.
I wonder how much would spill just from there. I don't want to get dirty.
You don't want to get dirty?
Look at me, I look beautiful. Gotta go out later.
You're going out in that later?
Yeah,
Where are you going?
to the club. You can come if you want, but not in that. No way.
Is this to cushion the fall?
Yep. Very good, Tom. Very clever.
I bet maths and science and physics comes to play.
You think maths and science and physics comes to play?
Yeah. What's so crazy about that sentence?
Well, I think the phrase maybe you were reaching for is that it comes into play.
Yeah.
But yours
No,
Yep.
it's my girlies. Science, maths,
come to play.
to play in the club.
So it's going to land straight up?
Yeah, good point. Yep. Yeah, Will. Definitely and straight
Just
up.
boop.
Yep.
Oh, what about something like this?
Are you going to drop?
I don't know. How long have I got?
6 minutes and 7 seconds.
Oh, we should be just chatting, hanging out, shooting the shit.
That's pretty good.
Oh, can I think smarter? Be smart, Conchetta. Okay, I'm doing the latter.
That's pretty good.
Okay. I'm scared.
You're scared?
I don't know if I could go much higher than this.
This looks good quality.
Okay. What are you going to do?
I'm gonna go low drop,
Okay.
max litres instead of max metres.
Okay. 21 seconds left.
How long?
21.
Girlies, I'll see you at the club tonight. No!
10 seconds.
10, 9, 8.
7, 6.
Oh, that's empty. That is good and empty.
Now, at one point, Conchetta, you told yourself to be smart. Why didn't you come up with that strategy earlier in this series?
Can I be frank with you, Tom?
Sure.
I think my motto the whole time was have fun and just hang out with Tom Cashman. And so I didn't really think too hard.
Yeah. Well, I think you spent most of the time actually just getting ready to go to the club.
I love when you say it.
Now, Mel, you never really miss a chance to rap, and then you just uttered out in the middle of a sentence, max litres instead of max meters. Sister's got flow when she's just riffing.
Thank you.
I was very impressed with that.
Thank you, my dude. How many points would you say? That's like a 5, 4.
I feel like we need the actual measurement. What happened there?
Well, Mel was actually very successful at guessing how many millilitres were left in the bucket. She guessed that there were 700. There were 730 millilitres left in the bucket.
I know myself.
You dropped it from 0.37 metres high, which gives you a litre-metre score of 0.27. There was 39 millilitres left in Conchetta's bucket. Multiplied by 1.98 metres gives her a 0.077 litre metres.
All this coffee chat has got my mouth watering. Time for a break so I can yell at my assistant to go and get me a coffee. More Taskmaster after this. Welcome back to Taskmaster, everyone, where 5 comedians are competing for the thing every comedian dreams of but few ever attain, $50. We've been watching comedians run around dropping coffee, and I'm not describing their day jobs as baristas. What am I describing, Lester Tom?
Our contestants are dropping coffee from the highest height they can while spilling the least of it. Next up, he likes his coffee and he likes women, but there's no relationship between the two. It's Chen.
Can I get a towel?
I'll get you a towel.
Yeah, please. Many towels.
Many towels?
As many.
Okay.
Or fabric.
Lots of fabric?
Yeah, and
Okay.
get on it.
Okay, all right.
Oh my gosh. Let's go upstairs, Tom.
We're going upstairs?
Yeah.
So what are you doing?
So I'm gonna soak the coffee in the towels so there's less likelihood of spillage. And then you're gonna wring the towels at the end.
I'm gonna ring them. What will I say?
No joking, mate.
Okay.
See, if these towels remain,
Yeah.
then any coffee that is soaked into these towels,
That all counts?
that all counts. It's unspilled. Do you have a gaffer tape? How much time do we have left?
4 minutes and 5 seconds.
I'll be having a nap at the end of this.
Do you want me to get you a pillow?
Yeah, please. Just some more for good measure. And then I'm gonna wrap it in a towel
What's that for?
to cushion. I'm not gonna have a nap anymore, I've decided.
Okay.
All right. This is so scary.
Okay.
I should have,
What are you scared of?
that this is gonna break and... Oh, yes! Number 1.
You happy with that?
Yeah. That's 0 spillage.
No spillage?
Maybe a few droplets at the start.
A few droplets?
I mean, yeah, no spillage.
Aaron, that may have been the best executed task we've ever seen on this show.
Thank you for saying that.
I mean, even Lester Tom's joke about phoning the towels couldn't ruin it. So was there any spillage at all?
There was a bit of spillage at the beginning when he was taking the bucket up, but there was 6.94 litres left in the bucket. If you multiply that by the distance dropped, which was exactly 5 metres, 34.7 litre metres.
Can't believe I'm asking this, but where does that place him in this task?
Well, afterwards, Conchetta takes home 1 point. Then we've got Mel on 2. You joke around race. You somehow get 3 points. Pete gets 4, and the winner of the task, of course, is Chen with 5 points.
So what does that mean for our scores, Lester Tom?
Everyone is doing so well, but the leader on 8 points is Reese.
Okay. All right, Strudel boy, one more task, please.
This one involves an out-of-retreat excursion. Did they all get their permission slips signed on time?
Hi, Mel.
Hi, Bin Juice. Good morning.
What a beautiful day, Tom.
You like rain?
Love it.
Hey, Tom.
Who's this?
This is me, but I'm cool.
Oh, right. Is that supposed to be there?
Cowboy themed.
Maybe.
Ask your taxi driver about how their day has been.
The taxi has been arranged to take you to the shops and back. Women love shopping.
I love the shops.
You have until the taxi returns to get as much detail about their day as you can.
Your time starts now. Thanks, Tom.
Why is there a cowboy boot? It's not cowboy themed. You could have just said no.
Hello.
Hi.
My name's Aaron.
Yeah, hi, Aaron. I'm Tony.
What's your name, Tony?
Yeah.
Tony, good. And we're going to the shops? Take your time, though. Drive slowly. I get real bad motion sickness.
Hey, Tom.
Hi, Pete.
He's nice.
Yeah?
He's a lovely bloke.
Look, there's a second shoe.
Huh?
Could learn a thing or two from Tony
What could I learn from Tony?
about getting to the point.
Oh, okay.
If I asked him if this was cowboy themed, he'd give me a yes or no answer.
Okay.
So are they?
Well, you'll see.
Write and perform a country song about your taxi driver's day.
Most powerful country song wins.
You have 60 minutes.
Your time starts now.
I can't sing or play an instrument in the slightest, Tom.
Can you sing?
Oh, yeah, okay, I've got some pipes. I've got some pipes.
He eats a mixture of 7 different types of cereals.
What?
7 different types of cereal.
Every morning?
Yeah, let's go write the song.
Okay.
So we can't let this slide. Aaron, what's your name, Tony?
No, I'm still developing in terms of social skills.
Now, Pete, did you find it hard? Because, like, as a celebrity, you obviously normally sit in the back seat, pretend to be on your phone so you don't have to talk to drivers.
I didn't like it.
All right, well, whose draw are we going to hear first?
She comes from the country. The country is Italy. It's Concetta Caristo.
I met a girl called Narissa. She lives a wonderful life. Wakes up in the morning to a channel called 93.9. She starts every day with a coffee. Prefers it black like the night. But don't get her started on traffic, 'cause that's one of her gripes. Oh, Narissa, Narissa, you and I'll split too soon. She showers in the morning and she's a Gemini. I hope we meet again real soon. I love you, Narissa.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but Concetta, that actually wasn't that bad.
Thank you.
Are you a professional singer?
Yes.
And you did some great rhymes in there too. I like the way that you rhymed, "You and I split too soon" with "I hope we meet again real soon." Like, that was... The way you got soon to rhyme with soon.
Rappers do it, so can I.
All right, give us a B-side, Cashman. Who's next?
Will he ban Joe when Joe's one of his best mates? It's Peter Helliar. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Brian's fingers grip the wheel of a taxi he drives so far. Those fingers that never quite learnt to play guitar. Brian pulled over one day to satisfy his appetite. He never knew Cupid was about to do him right. Brian with an I loves Lisa with a Y. One day they might marry. This flightless bird needs to fly.
Bird needs to carry
This flightless bird needs to fly. Flightless bird needs to fly.
Flightless bird needs to fly.
Flightless bird
Flightless bird
needs to fly.
I feel like you looked the part of a country music star, but it didn't quite land. Is that fair?
Agree to disagree. I mean, I nearly got Tom killed by...
I'm not saying there wasn't an upside.
Pete thought it would be a good shot if I was standing in front of what was a big flock of sheep. When I went over there, all of them ran off, except what was clearly the alpha.
Imagine being out-alphaed by a sheep.
Get out of here. We've got to do some not allowed to air business. Release the demon sheep. Run, Cash Boy. Welcome back to Taskmaster, the show that answers the question, why don't more comedians make the pivot from comedy to country music? Lesser Tom, bring us up to speed.
Our contestants are writing and then singing a country song about the day of a taxi driver they just had a trip with.
All right, who's slapping the banjo next?
What's his name? Aaron Chen. It's Aaron Chen.
They call me 530 Tony, but I don't think that encapsulates me. I'm Tony the Lion, can't you see? And I drive a premium SUV. I get up in the morning before my son. I can't even see the sun. I toilet, I wash my hands, I wash my face. I get it ready for the rat race. Because I'm Tony the Lion. I eat my cereal. There's 7 types. Wheat brick, wheat brick, wheat brick, and 4 other types. But I can afford it. I don't care. I'm a billionaire. Tony the Lion. I come in and I meet the first AD. I see a little guy, cool as can be. I tell him what I do with all my stuff and how much it costs. $5 million house, $78,000 car, $5,000 coffee machine, and $58 on cereal every single day. Money is extremely powerful. It's a billionaire's world, and you'd be a fool not to know that. And guess what? Listen to some of the other lyrics.
Yeah, hi, Aaron. I'm Tony.
My favourite part was the spoken word part in the middle, because you gave us a little break from your singing. So as part of your song, you said Tony had $5 million home, he was a billionaire, and drove a taxi.
Yeah.
I'm starting to call bullshit on the 7 boxes of cereal that he has in the morning.
Well, I based his net worth based on the fact that he had 7 boxes of cereal.
OK.
Maybe he asked him what his favourite cereal was 7 times.
All right, turn the transistor 1 more notch. Who's next?
They can't sing or play an instrument in the slightest, which so far makes them about as good as everyone else here. It's Reece Nicholson.
What if I just got ChatGPT to just write it? Write me a funny, I'm going to say 2-verse country song about a man named Matt who takes photographs of his friend's truck. It's really quickly written a song. And the first line of it is...
Hello, Matt's a picture-taking man, snapping shots of his friend's truck. It's part of his plan. His camera in hand, he shoots away, capturing that truck from every angle, come what may. He's fasting, he's clicking, truck pictures galore, but his family is missing him. Can't take it no more. And waiting in for the day that Matt will come back and put down that camera, get a burger, no lack. Now here's to Matt, that truck-loving man, clicking away with the camera, mitts in his hand. Fast and photos, it's current trend, but maybe it's time to reconnect with some family and friends. Yeehaw. Yeehaw.
Again, that was surprisingly good.
Thank you.
It was
And
not bad.
I did it all myself.
Yeah. Why does your singing voice sound more normal than your actual voice?
Well, I gotta say, this is my real voice now.
And what was the task again?
Write and perform a country song about your taxi driver's day. Keyword being write.
You used ChatGPT to write your song. You didn't write the song, so you're disqualified. But it was a great song.
Thank you.
And great singing voice. Please use it instead of your real voice.
Oh, no.
All right, who's our last performer, Tom?
With her song It's All Danish to Me, here's Mel Buttle.
I'm by myself. Michelle left me when I was doing engineering in Sydney at UTS. She up and left. My favourite colour's green. My daughter's left. She's in Denmark being an air hostess. By myself once again. You're nothing, Phil. You're a loser. Your favourites, chips or salt and vinegar. No pumpkin in my pants and a warm finger good. About a ring on her finger. No, she didn't linger. No reason why that look in her eyes gone cold, cold. The same as Copenhagen. Minstrel, she's my woman now. Blue Holland, it's been anti-fouled. It's just me and Alfred alone on this bed. Yo, lights out and away we go. It's time to say goodbye to the Danish show. It's me, I'm rich, I'm on 90k. If I was richer, maybe I'd be gay, but it's just me. Unfortunately, I'm a straight man. Danish bitches, oh, they're like ham to me. I'll eat them on a croissant or a sandwich or anything else with bread, cause Danes love bread. That's what I picked up from my ex-wife. Sauna, flora and fauna. That's what she wanted to be all the time. Not near me, but I was on my boat. I put around us an emotional note. Alfred's my only friend. Anyway, that's it. Peace, I'm out. Goodbye.
And I was feeling safe, thinking you're going to get through this whole task without rapping, and there it was, popped up right in the middle when we least expected it.
That's correct, officer.
I thought the first half of the song was fantastic.
Thank you so much.
The lyrics were very depressing.
I just really connected with this man's story on a really deep level. And then, like Aaron, I said, how much money do you earn? Because he was kind of hot. And I was like, I can, for the right figure, turn. And he's talking about his boat. And I'm like, I see myself on the seas. I can get over how you do it. Yeah.
OK, well, I like the first half of the song. In fact, if that was the whole song, I would have given it 6 points. That's how much I liked it.
Okay.
But only half of it was a country song, so I'm giving it 3.
OK, 3 for Mel.
Reese is on 0, obviously. I'm going to give Aaron Chen 2 because I suspect the entire song was made up.
All of the songs were made up.
Not mine.
I'm going to give Pete 4 points.
Oh, thank you very much.
But that was only because of the sheep that attacked Tom.
I'll take it. Happy to take it.
I'm giving 5 points to Conchetta because the song actually worked. I don't know why I'm so shocked, but it did. It actually kind of worked. All right, we've got to go help Reese Nicholson detox from all the straight white energy that country music just smothered upon them. Yeehaw! See you after the break. Welcome back to Taskmaster. Serve us our final proper task of the evening, Lesser Tom.
Very well, but before I invite you into this one, please remove your shoes and your manners.
Tom!
Hi, Conchetta.
Ooh, fun?
Why did you sniff? No, I just want to know what the tiny guy had in his shoes.
Cute?
Do you like things mini?
I feel like that's a loaded question.
It's kind of sinister.
Make the least welcoming welcome mat.
You must welcome Tom to your welcome mat.
In 4 hours. That's a long time.
In 25 minutes.
25 minutes.
Most unwelcoming welcome mat wins.
Your time starts now.
Okay.
Now, do I have a welcome mat to begin with?
If you want.
You came through.
You can't hear all my secrets. You have to go or I have to go.
Okay.
You go.
What if it just said, I'm gonna eat Tom Cashman?
Oh, no.
You'd probably turn around. Well, don't turn around. That's asking for trouble at that point.
All right, let's find a review of Tom Cashman.
I think I prefer you not to see what I create.
Can I make it a bit of a surprise?
Do you want me to leave?
Yeah, please.
Just turn your chair around so you're not looking.
What's the meanest thing anyone's ever said to you?
I can't really think.
You've blocked it out.
Or no one's ever said something that mean to me.
I don't believe that for a second.
Now, all of you ordered Tom out of the room while you're trying to get organised, except for Aaron, who just asked him to politely turn his chair around.
Yeah, I wanted it to be like The Voice.
All right, well, let's see some unwelcome welcome mats. Who's first?
They both invited me in a long time ago to their hearts. It's Conchetta and Aaron.
Tom, come in.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Conchetta.
Welcome to my little home.
Hey, Matt, just shoes off, please.
How stringent is the shoes off policy?
It's really strict.
Okay. If you open the door, someone is going to punch you. You're evil. Spelt incorrectly.
How does that make you feel?
Doesn't make me feel welcome.
Why don't you come in?
Oh, I can think of one reason.
That's just the matter. Come on in.
Okay. Do you want me to step on it?
As a human being, no. But as someone in the entertainment industry, absolutely yes.
Okay.
There's also a skateboard underneath, so it's not... It's your call, but if you care about the Australian television viewer, you would.
Oh! Unwelcoming much, mate.
Don't step on. Just come in.
I'm allowed in?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I slayed that. Don't mess with the Zohan.
So, Aaron, it was a very unwelcome welcome, Matt. It's very hazardous. But Lesser Tom kind of called you bluff and then you welcomed him in.
But the mat didn't.
Conchetta, I see you decided to use camera trickery to hit Tom in the face. Were you not tempted just to do the full thing?
I was tempted, but the safety guy stepped in.
It is weird that the safety officer didn't help you with the sheep.
He got in quick for me.
All right, who's next?
Like our base layer doormats, they're both prickly, one in the beard, one just in general. It's Pete and Mel. Stand here. Hi, Pete. Oh. Maybe stand on.
Not sure what you're watching, but it's definitely trying incredibly hard to copy the UK version. Greg and Alex have a natural chemistry. Both Toms are trying incredibly hard to copy that and are failing, and they're falling so incredibly short, it's forced.
So this is why you asked me my middle name earlier?
It was. I had no interest in what your middle name actually was. I was being very specific about which Tom Cashman I was telling to off.
The routine about small penis prejudice is cheap and barely in keeping with the more authentic tone of the rest of the show.
So before off camera, when you started the conversation with me about what my middle name was and then you shared your middle name, that was all. So you could tell me to
Exactly right. So I think I've been very clear.
Tom bought a really ugly rug when we lived together. It was purple, black, white and grey shag. It was like if a computer was in charge of home decor from your former flatmate.
Thanks, Pete.
Well, part of the welcome mat, don't you understand?
Yep.
I know you were trying to make Lesser Tom feel unwelcome by reading out bad reviews, but the review's right. We do have bad chemistry. Like, I'd hate to have good chemistry with him. That'd be embarrassing. Would you want to have good chemistry with this guy? Come on, banter.
Oh,
See, it's shit. It's shit house. So the review was right. Now, Mel, the problem is, I think you were making him feel unwelcome. The welcome mat was actually saying, stand here.
Yeah, but
That's quite welcoming.
the welcome mat had... Oh, God, it's like you don't watch the clips, honestly.
But I'm just saying, the mat itself, it said stand here. I would say the mat was quite welcoming, despite your heinous commentary. Now, Pete.
Yes, Tom.
You pretty much just spray painted 5 words on a mat and then you sat in a chair and read a book.
It was the best afternoon I had, actually.
Well, once again, you put in the bare minimum of effort to get maximum results.
I mean, they're long days. They really are.
All right, time for an ad break in which I'm going to do my best to build up the self-esteem of my younger comrade here, just so I can have another crack at bringing it down again later. I'm proud of you, mate. I'm so proud of you. Welcome back. We're in the middle of a task that so far has seen 4 comedians put aside their deep-rooted, inescapable loathing for themselves and unload it instead on Tom Cashman.
Our contestants are making the most unwelcoming welcome mat possible. I'm feeling very unwelcome, but I'm aware it's a comedy show, so I know it's all just part of a joke. Next up, it's Rhys Nicholson.
I'm thinking I'm gonna burn some toast. So when you come to the house, you have a bit of a feeling like, maybe I'm having a stroke. What can I say? It's an exciting task. Oh my God. All right, if he hands me another task that now says, eat the mat, we're Now you're just strolling down the street.
Okay.
You come up to my house.
Oh, no, Tom. And it's toast and eggs.
Do you smell that in the air?
Yeah.
I can't smell anything. You all right? Maybe you should go to a hospital.
Oh. Is that what you smell when you've had it? Oh. Is that part of the mat?
Sure.
What does that say? I'm going to eat.
And that's a promise.
Okay.
How welcome are you feeling?
Not very welcome. Thanks, Rhys.
You're very welcome. You're not at all.
Oh, I was going to say.
Well, I mean, it looked unwelcoming, but it also just looked like you were slovenly.
It was very unwelcoming. There was tinned chicken, which, by the way, shouldn't be a thing. It stunk in there, and it was all coming from the mat.
So you were going for a real odious combination of things. It smelt really bad.
It looked really bad.
Show.
It smelt bad. Why is it on TV? The question we ask ourselves about Tom Cashman every day.
I'm just glad you're thinking about me every day.
I think I'm the only one that has gotten him to say, I do not feel welcome. And if we're basing it on the clips, that must be pretty far up there.
Monica,
I'm not shut the up.
No. Bit of a mess. Let's have a look at all of them. Let's get them up. This is pretty easy to score, I think. Mel on 1, because that's actually quite welcoming, saying stand here. 2 points to Rhys, 3 points to Peter Helliar, 4 points to Conchetta, but definitely the most unwelcome Matt is Aaron Chen. 5 points to Aaron. Shall we look at the scoreboard, Lesser Tom?
Yes, we can. Just like doormats, Mel and Rhys are all down in the dirt. And in a 3-way tie, Conchetta, Pete and Aaron are walking all over them with 14 points.
What? It's not over till it's over. Get on to our live task. Get up there, you lot. I've been waiting for 2 seasons for our comedians being burnt at the stake task.
Aaron, can you please read the task?
Sure. Win more debates than the other team. Each team will get 45 seconds to deliver their arguments on each moot. Moot. Each team member may only say one word before rotating so their teammate can say the next word. Each word must be said into the microphone. Tom will state the first mood, and the affirmative team will begin on his whistle.
Conchetta, are you ready?
Yep.
Aliens exist.
Alien
100%
exists.
this
Is
proven
by
Tom.
Cashman.
Furthermore,
Look,
into
his
dead
beady
shark
alien
eyes.
Negative team, are you ready?
Tom,
Cashman is
not.
an alien.
He
Is
an rat bastard.
yeah. He
Doesn't
even
shower. Aliens
don't
mix with
others.
so they
Can't.
I'm going to go with the affirmative team.
Are you ready for the second moot?
C, as we say in the old country.
We look silly strapped together.
Duh.
look
At
us.
have
You
ever
seen
two
crazy,
hot
ugly?
women?
No.
We
Are
looking
psycho.
Is the negative team ready?
Now we
are
finally looking
serious.
and this
Is
the real
us.
I am
Me.
yes. Also, sorry. We
Belted.
aneurysm. Point made.
Well, I think the Muppets were doing really well until all three of them had an aneurysm. I'm awarding it to Ernie and Bert. All right, you can debate whether or not those were the right judgments, but I really don't care. See you after the break. Ahoy there! We're back on board the Taskmaster ship as we sail to our episode conclusion. Lesser time, tell the people what's happening.
You're about to give out some scores for the debating task we just did.
Ah, OK. Well, Ernie and Bert were clear winners, so they get 5 each.
5 each.
And the Muppets were doing pretty well too, but then the wheels completely fell off, so it's 2-2-2. But what I need to ask you is, what does that mean for our episode winner?
Our winner tonight is Conchetta Caristo on 19 points.
Congratulations, Conchetta. You are now the proud owner of less than $250 worth of art. Please head up to the stage to enjoy your terrible new art collection. OK, Conchetta, please continue to enjoy your time at Australia's worst art gallery. Remember, as with any art gallery, it's important to put your hands behind your back and look seriously at each painting for a good 20 seconds to make sure everyone knows you're clever and totally understand what's going on. Where are we with the series scores, Other Tom?
So at the end of episode 6, it's a close race, but Conchetta is looking solid out in front with nearly a century on 97 points. And as the resident mathematician, I've crunched the numbers, and if these trends were to continue, they would all be in the exact same order at the end of the series, but the numbers would be a bit bigger.
That's it, everyone. We ran out of TV for you. We've come to the end of another episode. But what did we learn? We learnt that if you drop a Ziploc bag of liquid from a second-storey balcony, it goes exactly how you think it will. We learnt that whilst most people count sheep in their dreams, Tom Cashman counts them in his nightmares. And we learnt that Tony's name is Tony. But most importantly, we learnt that Conchetta is the winner of episode 6. See you next week!
For more Taskmaster, subscribe now.